Hi everybody, since I'm not in class today, I wanted to make you a quick little video about 4.2 part 2. We just need to talk a little bit more about slope. We have some special cases of slope. We've talked about slope being positive or negative. It's not always positive or negative. We have two other options, which I warned you about in the last video. Let's take a look at it when we have a horizontal line. So let's say this is my horizontal line right here. It goes through the point y is equal to 3. Remember that my slope I can always find by taking y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now in this case, y2 minus y1, I'm going to call this x2 and y2. This point's going to be x1 and y1. So y2 minus y1 is 3 minus 3 over x2 is 2 minus 3. So this is 3 minus 3 is 0 over negative 1. 0 divided by any number, no matter the number, is always just 0. So our slope right here we get is a slope of 0. That's true for every single horizontal line. Your slope is always 0. You can think a little bit about why that's true. There's no change in x, so my numerator is always, no change in y, so my numerator is always going to be 0. You can also think about something that has a 0 slope. So for example, if you live in Illinois and all the roads are very flat, there's no incline, so we would say that that slope is 0 or none. Let's try a vertical line now. A vertical line is slightly different. So slope formula is still the same. The slope is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm going to call this point right here x1, y1. This point x2, y2. Doesn't matter which one you call 1 and which one you call 2. So this is negative 1 minus 3 all over negative 1 minus negative 1. Now, negative 1 minus 3 is a negative 4. Negative 1 minus a negative 1, well, that's the same thing as plus 1. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. So in this case, we have our slope is negative 4 over 0. Remember, anytime we have a fraction, this is the same as negative 4 divided by 0. We can't divide a number by 0. This does not exist. So we say that our slope for a vertical line is undefined. Because we cannot divide by 0, this does not exist. So our slope is called undefined. When 0 was in the numerator, it gave us a 0 slope. When 0 is in the denominator, it gives us an undefined slope. This would be like, for example, as you're going down a mountain and it's getting even more and more and more steep, there will come a point where this line just becomes vertical and we say that it is an undefined slope. Let's try two problems together here. The first one I want to try is question number 1 on your page. Question number 1 on your page, we need to find the slope. Please remember to always reduce. Now, I listed 2 points, printed 2 points on there for you. We're going to use those 2 points. You can use any 2 points on the line that you would like. You'll always get the same slope. So I'm going to call this one right here x1, y1 yet again, x2, y2 yet again. Our slope, just remember, is always y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2 in this case is 4. This is 4 minus 3 all over 4 minus 2. This simplifies then to 1 over 2. You get a slope of 1/2. Now, what a slope of 1/2 means is that the slope is positive, which I can just do a quick check up here. If I move left to right and I'm moving uphill, am I increasing? Yes, so the positive slope makes sense. Let's try it again over here. I'm going to call this point x1, y1, this point x2, y2. Again, it doesn't matter which one you choose as 1 and 2 as long as you're consistent within the points. I'm going to again write the slope formula here just until I know it well enough to not need to write it every single time. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Now, Y2 is negative 4. This is negative 4 minus Y1 minus 4. X2 is 6 minus 2. Negative 4 minus 4 is a negative 8. 6 minus 2 is 4. You cannot leave it as negative 8 over 4. Negative 8 over 4 is the same as negative 8 divided by 4, which can simplify down to a negative 2. So my slope for this problem is negative 2. That makes sense. As I move left to right, I'm going downhill, decreasing. Let's try example number 3 together. Now, maybe right away you can say, oh, I know that this is a horizontal line. I know that there is something always true about the slope of a horizontal line. If you're not there yet, then let's choose points. I know that one point this goes through is 0, negative 1. I know another point, some point over here, is negative 2, negative 1. Now if I call this x1, y1, and this one x2, y2, our slope is always y2 minus y1. We're going to divide it by x2 minus x1. In this case, this is negative 1 minus negative 1, all over 0 minus negative 2. 1 minus a negative 1 is the same thing as plus a 1, so negative 1 plus 1 is 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. 0 divided by anything is always just 0. So we get our slope here is 0. Now just remember, every horizontal line will always have a slope of 0. We're only going to do one more together. I'm going to skip a couple. You're going to do the rest of the ones on your note page while I'm not there, but we're just going to skip ahead and look at question number 5. So take a look at question number 5. We're going to skip question number 1. Question number 5 says negative 3 is one of your points. Negative 3, 5 is another one of your points. So I'm calling this one x1, y1, and this one is x2, y2. Remember that our slope is y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. In this problem, then it's 5 minus negative 3 all over negative 3 minus negative 3. 5 minus a negative 3 is the same as 5 plus 3. That's 8. Negative 3 minus a negative 3 is the same as negative 3 plus a positive 3. Negative 3 plus 3 is 0. Again, here I get that a number divided by 0 does not exist. So our slope here we then write is undefined. When our slope is a number divided by 0, we cannot divide by 0, so our slope is undefined. Let's just do one little bit of review. How do we know that the slope of all horizontal lines is 0? Well, slope in all horizontal lines, if you're looking at a horizontal line like this, your change in y in a horizontal line is always 0. That means that in my slope fraction, my numerator is always 0, and 0 divided by any number will always be 0. So slope of all horizontal lines is 0. Now the slope of all vertical lines, now a vertical line here, every single x value is the same. So here my change in x is equal to 0. Changes in x is in the denominator of your slope fraction. So this always means then that our denominator is equal to 0. If I take any number and divide it by 0, that's a number that does not exist. So our slope here will always be undefined. Whenever I divide by a negative number or divide by 0, my slope is undefined. You might have noticed that poster I have hanging up in our classrooms that says it's all fun and games until someone divides by 0. Maybe that's the way you can help to remember. I can't divide by 0. That will get me an undefined slope. I want you to finish this notes page, and you have the rest of class to work on your homework tonight, which is 4.2 big ideas. See you on Friday.